everybody, Katerina here. Welcome to my home on this beautiful fall day. My husband tonight, it's his poker night and he asked me for finger foods, of course. So I decided I'm going to prepare Scaccia, which is pizza rolls. I think he's going to love it, his friends are going to love it, and let's get started. We're going to start making the Scaccia, but first I have to get my yeast going. Okay, it's 1.25 cups of water. It's at 105, you don't want it more than that. To this I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar. This is what's going to feed the yeast. And a teaspoon of active dry yeast. And and a tablespoon of olive oil. You're gonna need your dough book. Here I have 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, my yeast has been proofing for the last 10-15 minutes. And look, when it's frothing like this, you know that the yeast is alive. I'm going to add the yeast now to my flour. Okay, so when you see the dough gathered around the hook, you know that your dough is ready. This is the bowl. I greased it with olive oil. Okay, in a nice warm dry place for at least an hour, hour and a half. Okay, so I let the dough rise for approximately an hour and a half. Now I am going to beat it down. And I'm going to, I'm just going to beat it down. And I am going to give it a second rising. You don't have to do the second rising. I just love the way the dough feels after a second rising. You cover it with plastic wrap, back in a warm spot for another hour. Here I have 8 sausages, hot pork sausages. I'm just going to take them out of the casing. So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil. And now I'm going to add the pork sausage. Here I'm just going to break them up while they're sauteing. Okay, I'm going to brown them nicely. It's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, now I'm going to add some salt. And this is my father, you've already met her. And she's never more than 3 feet away from me. She's just a beautiful dog. Okay, so here I have about 4 cups of broccolini. I just blanched them for a few minutes. You don't want to really cook them because they're going to cook inside the pizza. So now I'm just going to add them to the pork. Oh, it's ready. Perfect. Okay, now I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl. Okay, so I remove everything with the spider because you don't want any of that excess fat, and I just threw it out. So now I'm just going to keep it aside and let it cool. I'm going to make the filling for the second Scaccia. I'm going to put some olive oil, 3 chopped leeks, sweet onions. Okay, I'm just going to saute this for 15 minutes. While this is sauteing nicely, I'm going to get started with the other part that we will be adding it to the leeks and onions. Here is 1 scrambled egg. Okay, 1.5 cups of fresh full fat ricotta. 1/2 cup of Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm going to give it a really good mix. 1/2 cup of my favorite olives, Calabrese olives. 1 cup of fresh parsley. To season the leeks and the onion, approximately a teaspoon of salt and a pinch of pepper. Smells so good. Okay, so this is cooked nicely. Now I'm going to add my ricotta mixture to my leek and onions. I turned my stove off. I give it a really good mix, make sure that everything is combined, and then I'm going to let it cool to room temperature. Well, my dough has been sitting again for an hour and a half. Second rising. You don't have to do the second rising, but I just love the way the dough forms with 2 risings. Okay, here we go. A little bit of bench flour. Oh, beautiful. make 2 Scaccias. Roll this all into a rectangle. I rolled it out. Now I'm just going to place this in the center. Just put it in the center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll one side because I don't want it to come out. And I'm going to roll it on this side. And then it's this. I'm just going to place over. It's done. Very, very quickly. Whoop, there we are. And we're just going to leave it alone for a few minutes. Now I'm going to start on the leek and ricotta filling. I'm just going to put this down the center. Over. Okay, now we're just going to put this on. Oh! Perfect. Okay, my oven is preheated at 400 degrees. Now I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil on top. And I'm just going to brush it. It'll give it a beautiful color and flavor. A little bit of salt on top. It'll give it a nice crunch and flavor. I'm just going to do little cuts down the center, about 1 inch apart, to let the steam escape. In the oven it's going to go for 35 minutes. I will check it. It was 35 minutes in the oven. My scaccia is ready. Smells like heaven. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let it rest for about 15 minutes and then I'm going to cut it. A beautiful serving board here for my husband's poker friends. I'm just going to slice them with a serrated knife. I think is the best. Oh, smells good. Okay, my scaccia is ready. I've cut them into slices. My husband's poker buddies are going to love it. And I'm going to taste it for you. So good. Absolutely. This is the one with the watch on the lips and apple. So good. I hope you will try this recipe. It's so delicious and so easy to prepare. It's got good enough. You might want to do it.